Finally, after 2 weeks of no UFC, we are now back with Ulberg versus Reyes in Perth, Australia. Weirdly enough, they didn't give Australia to JDM versus Erslan. You know, JDM is Australian, Ulberg is New Zealander, but it's whatever. We finally have another UFC event, so we can't complain too much. This is taking place on my birthday, weirdly funny enough, so there's a birthday present, I guess. But yeah, let's just quickly go over the picks. Now, this is actually a slightly more better card than the previous cards we've been having, you know, slightly more stacked. Some recognizable names sprinkled here and there. Some fun prospects. But yeah, let's just quickly go over the picks. So we're going to start off with women's strawweight. Starting off the prelims, Lookboonme versus Thainara. Lookboonme, she is kind of small for her division. You know, this is the smallest division in the UFC. And yeah, she is kind of small, like, you compare her to other opponents. But she has really great Muay Thai. Like, she has nasty Muay Thai for her division. Granted, she kind of, her grappling is kind of iffy. And she lost only twice in the UFC because of wrestling. But in her previous performances, she looks like she improved a lot. So there, you can give her that. And Thainara, she is more of a, she is kind of a grappler. So, and she has some submissions in her winning streak. So, that is kind of looking kind of bad for Lookboonme. But I think Lookboonme, in my personal opinion, I feel like she can defend those takedowns. I feel like she can, I'll not defend fully the takedowns, but be able to keep it up on the clinch and be able to reversal and straight up beat up Thainara on the feet. So I have Lookboonme via 3-round decision win for Lookboonme. Yeah, heavyweight Pericic versus Ellison. Two new guys. Pericic is a CKB fighter, so we're gonna have a couple CKB fighters here as well. He is pretty good kickboxer. Nothing too much to say about these two guys. They're kind of new to the UFC. Ellison is he has power. Ellison, he has a couple KOs in the regional scene. Pericic as well, but I will lean towards Pericic being able to beat Ellison because of the he trains with the CKB guys, and also I think this was originally booked a couple weeks ago for Dana White Contender Series, but here we have it for this card. And yeah, I'm gonna go with Pericic, probably KO, first round KO. I have a feeling he's gonna get it done quickly. Next fight, women's bantamweight, Montague versus Carolina. Montague, if you see her fights, she's basically a female Khabib, female Hamzat. Like, she has pretty good takedowns. Her striking is kind of but good takedowns, great wrestling, great submissions. She fought at the PFL, right? PFL Bellato around there. So she does have some experience, at least, like on a slightly bigger stage, not as big as the UFC, but she has some experience. Carolina, she has some decent striking, but she does get taken down a lot in her fights, and because of that, that's kind of an easy layup win for Montague on her debut. So I'm gonna have Montague winning this fight pretty easily. Whoops. I can see a submission, second round submission, or maybe first round submission. Maybe I'm gonna go with second round. Next up, bantamweight Thicknesse versus Musasa. Thicknesse, I don't remember him, but he made his debut against what's his name? Topuria's brother. What's his name? Alexander Topuria, right? He looked pretty. He was getting dominated in that fight, to be honest. He did have some decent takedowns, but the striking is kind of mess, surprisingly, because he does train with Volk. Like, you would expect someone like this guy to have decent striking, But his striking is kind of poor. Maybe because Topuria's brother, he trains with Topuria, so also his striking is pretty good as well. But yeah, Musasa, his striking is actually it's actually pretty good. He has pretty good boxing, except defensively. When he strikes, he kind of leaves his chin up in the air, and I think he got head kicked once because of it. But I think in general, he is pretty good. He has really good takedown defense as well, so I think he can defend Thicknesse takedowns and also just outbox Thicknesse. This can be an upset. You can see an upset here by Thicknesse, but I highly doubt it. I'm gonna go with Musasa, probably chinning Thicknesse third round after a brutal war. I can see Musasa, getting hit a couple times, but actually never mind. I think Musasa is gonna just steamroll this guy. Third round KO. Lightweight Mullarkey versus Bedoya. Mullarkey is another Volk training partner. He has good kicks, good lunging hooks. But he does kind of leave himself a bit exposed after a punching. Like, he kind of just takes a picture, and that's kind of good. You kind of leave yourself open to get counter when you're doing that. Bedoya, he's pretty slow actually. He kind of has like very slow footwork, very slow striking. Granted, he does like to kick a lot, so there you can give him that. But I think in general, there's a layup fight for Mullarkey. You know, Bedoya's kind of slow, so Mullarkey doesn't have to worry about the counters. And I feel like he can tee off on Bedoya and get I can see a decision win. I don't know if Mullarkey is gonna finish Bedoya, but I can see him beating up Bedoya for 3 rounds, right? Welterweight, Micallef versus Elliot. Micallef is he also this guy likes to kick a lot. He likes to kick, but everything else is pretty meh. I mean, he does have a submission in Dana White Contender Series, but that really doesn't say much about his ground game or anything. Elliot, he's actually pretty decent overall. I don't want to say he's amazing anywhere specifically. You know, I don't think his boxing or kickboxing or wrestling or whatever is like phenomenal, but he is pretty good, well-rounded, and I feel like he could turn into a good gatekeeper in the future. But for right now, he's going up against Micallef, but I don't think Micallef is that good at all. I think he's kind of like below average. So we have a slightly above average fighter fighting a below average fighter. So that's gonna be an easy fight for Elliot, I think so. He's gonna just outbox him, out grapple him, and get a probably submission win, 3rd round submission win, probably, or 2nd round submission win. But I can see him getting him down, just flattening him out and getting around his neck for over submission win. So I got Elliot. Middleweight, we got another CKB fighter fighting Petroski. Petroski is pretty good. He has pretty good wrestling. You know, he mauls everybody he fights. He takes them down with ease and just lays and prays. It's pretty boring to watch, I'm gonna be honest. And Rowston, because he is a CKB fighter, he likes to kickbox. And when you take away the kickboxing by wrestling, it's, you know, you kind of like screwed. And so I can see that exactly happen. I can see Petroski just getting down Rowston, getting him down, just laying, praying. I don't know if Rowston has elite BJJ or wrestling to just be able to reverse Petroski. I don't think so. And so I got Petroski just laying and praying for 5 rounds decision win. Another boring decision win. So yeah, I got Petroski. And now for light heavyweight, we got another prospect, another CKB fighter. Striling versus Bellato. If you look at Striling, how he fights, he basically fights exactly like Israel Adesanya. Like everything he does, down to the little mannerisms, is like very similar to Izzy. Like it's kind of weird. It's like Izzy Spears took over some light skinned bodybuilder and just started fighting in the UFC. Like it's pretty weird to look at. And Bellato, he on the feet, he kind of fights like Alex a little bit. So there's kind of like a Izzy versus Alex Walmart version to say, but yeah, he is not as good as Alex, obviously, like nowhere near. He's much slower, not as accurate, timing isn't really there. His grappling is okay, but I can see Striling be able to manhandle a Bellato, be able to be explosive enough to not get laid and prayed at all. So I can see Striling be able to defend Bellato's takedowns and just tee off on Bellato. Like Striling has, for light heavyweight, has really good striking. You know, he tries his best to look like Izzy in there. So yeah, it's pretty obvious Striling is gonna just beat up Bellato, maybe finish him. But Bellato does have, Bellato gets dropped a lot, but he doesn't really get finished like that. Like he gets dropped, but like he gets back up. So I don't know if Striling is gonna be able to finish him. Striling has been having decision wins lately, so I don't know. But yeah, I can see Striling winning this 3-round decision win. All right, so for the very first fight of the main card, we got Nolan versus Campbell. Nolan is very flashy. If you see how he fights, very flashy. He likes to kick a lot. You know, he's kind of creative in there. Actually, he kind of like tries to style on his opponent. Good clinch game as well. And Campbell, he's a bit more flat-footed. He's more stationary. He does have some good counter boxing and good uppercuts. He has pretty good uppercuts actually. Like you can tell when he trains his uppercuts a lot. But yeah, I can see Nolan just being the bigger guy in there. I think there's like a slight height difference between them. 6'3" at lightweight, so you know there's that. I mean, this guy's also 6 feet, but Nolan's much taller relatively. And I can see him just being the longer guy, being able to use his range effectively against Campbell, and probably chin him. I can see him training him second round KO by Nolan. So there you got it. Heavyweight Justin Tafa versus Sutherland. I think this was in the prelims, but I think they switched out a lot of fights around there. Here from like a couple of days ago. But yeah, we got Justin Tafa fighting a debutant Sutherland. Have you seen Sutherland, how he fights? He kind of fights like DDP, but like a heavyweight version, as in very wild. He blitzes. You know, he leaves his chin open when he blitzes forward. And I don't think that was going to work out for him in the UFC. Like, DDP can get away with it, but I don't know if Sutherland can get away with that. And Justin Tafa, you know, he does have some decent boxing, some decent counter boxing as well. So I can see him, while Sutherland is going forward, I can see Justin Tafa stepping to the left or right and just cracking Sutherland's chin and dropping him. So I got Justin Tafa like that. Even though Justin Tafa is not anywhere good and probably has the same skill level as Sutherland, I can see Tafa stylistically being able to beat a guy like Sutherland, you know, who isn't really, like, he is getting some wins in the original scene, but it's not too impressive. His KOs are kind of whack if you see his KOs in the regional scene. So I got Tafa. Jake Matthews versus Neil Magny. Both guys who have been fighting the UFC for a long time. Magny, his game plan is basically the same in every single fight, which is use my pillow punches or use my clinching to put you up against the cage, and then try to take you down to either ground and pound or submit you. That's exactly what he does every single fight. And Jake Matthews, I don't think he's gonna be able to. I think he's gonna, like, how is he after like 10 years of fighting the UFC or like around there? He has to have some decent clinch game. I don't think he's gonna be able to easily get pushed up by Magny. There is a size difference, but I don't think there's a strength difference here. I can see him easily reversing Magny and getting Magny down and just finishing him. Magny is pretty old as well. You know, this was like a 35 or 36-year-old Magny. Maybe you could see an upset, but I do think Matthew is you know, a much well-rounded or like overall fighter. You know, he can outstrike Magny easily in this fight. You know, he does have some power. Magny doesn't, and I can see Matthews just defending Magny's attempts at clinch. So I got Matthews winning, probably finishing Magny, probably first round KO maybe. You know, he could get him down, finish him like the last 30 seconds of the round probably. And yeah, ground and pound for Matthews. For the way we got Jenkins versus Taveras. Jenkins, he has some actually good kickboxing. It's pretty slick. It's pretty good. Taveras is not that good. He does also like to counter box, but I want to say that's not enough. So Jenkins, you know, he has a good kickboxing. I don't think Taveras is a really good wrestler, so I don't think he's gonna pose a threat to Jenkins to get him down on the ground, so Jenkins doesn't have to worry about grappling. So I'm pretty sure Jenkins is gonna tee off against Taveras and beat him up easily for like 3 rounds and not finish him like in the 3rd round. So I got Jenkins easily. The second last fight of the card at light heavyweight, Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Erslan. Jimmy Crute, Ivan Erslan. Now, if you really want to go against a underdog, this one's the fight for you. There is a big chance Erslan beats Crute, but I don't know. That's kind of iffy because Jimmy Crute, he's good. Power, poses a threat, nasty leg kicks, decent offensive grappling. Defensively, he kind of struggles, but Jimmy Crute, when he enters range, he leaves his chin in the same spot. Like, he doesn't even try to slip. And when you see him fight, you can kind of tell like his own height, his own frame, his own weight kind of like makes it hard for him to slip while, you know, going forward. So maybe it's a physical issue, not a skill issue. But even then, it's still the same thing. You're still going forward, leaving your face, your chin in the same spot in the straight line and center line. And Erslan can easily take advantage of that. He can just jab, if not just step to the side and just land on Crute's chin, you know, slipping. But I don't know. I think Erslan isn't that good as well. I think Erslan is slightly less skilled than Crute in general in the striking. Maybe they're in the same level as grappling. But I got Jimmy Crute. I don't know. I think Erslan is gonna be dumb enough not to be able to take advantage of that. And so I got Crute winning this, but very easily Erslan can just boom, just drop Crute and just finish the fight. But yeah, I got Crute winning this just because I feel like he's also gonna want to show out for Perth, Australia. So I feel like he's actually gonna be locked in, and his footwork is gonna be slightly better. And even though his chin is gonna be in the same spot, just watch him fight. He's gonna be able to use his footwork to at least get out of the way and be able to beat Erslan. Maybe 3-round decision, if not chin. But I'm gonna just lean towards a 3-round decision for Jimmy Crute. On to the main card, the main event of Perth, Australia, Ulberg versus Reyes. Listen, I can go the ins and outs of this, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I got Reyes. How can you not go with Reyes? Okay. Okay, let me try to explain my answer. 50% of me is bias, and the other 50% of me is logic. And for this fight specifically, and for the logic part, Ulberg, he's good, nasty left hook. He kind of leans like Izzy when he throws the left hook. He goes boom, boom. But Dominick Reyes is a southpaw, so the left hook is gonna land here. But because he has southpaw, is gonna have to land through here past the Reyes' arm. So it's gonna be much harder for Ulberg to land it. Granted, I think who was it? Ryan Spann landed this left hook on Reyes and dropped him, but he landed it right here. Like you can really see it in the fight. Boom, it like gray stuff here, and dropped Reyes. Like his equilibrium went crazy and Reyes got dropped. But for that, Ryan Spann isn't scared to go for a brawl. He isn't scared to exchange wildly, and Ulberg is. That's why he has two decision wins over Ozdemir and Old Man Jan. Like I can guarantee you right now, Reyes beats Jan right now in a rematch. Jan was looking so old, so decrepit. It's been like over a year since he last fought, and I don't know. Like it's a clear day and night difference between Jan that fought Ulberg and the Jan that fought Alex Pereira. I think the Jan that fought Alex Pereira or any other version before that easily chins Ulberg or just beats him in a fight. And I can see Reyes having improved game plan, improved fight IQ to not just go in there with his chin up in the air and try to brawl and get dropped again, like he did 3 times in a row. Like he literally each time he gets dropped is because he's brawling with Jan, he's brawling with Yuri. I mean, granted, Yuri brings the brawl to you, so you can't really blame Reyes. And Yuri is a finish or get finished fighter, and that night he finished Reyes. But anyways, and he got into a brawl with Ryan Spann, so he got dropped out in all 3. But Ulberg, he rarely goes into brawls. He would rather pick you apart at range, like most of CKB fighters. They like to kickbox at range and just beat you up. And best case scenario, they chin you, but they're totally fine getting a decision win. Reyes, I feel like he could actually take advantage of that, and because Ulberg tries to be too clean, he does sometimes leave his chin up in the air when he goes forward into a straight line, not expecting Reyes to make it dirty. The thing is, I imagine Ulberg being like the confident fighter on a winning streak, seeing Reyes as an old fighter who just been being chinned left and right, and he's not on Ulberg's level. Like, and Reyes, he is on a resurgence. He's on a 3 KO winning streak first round. Was it first round? I think maybe he finished Anthony Smith in the second. But anyways, Reyes has that mentality shift, and he wants to get back to another title shot. So this is a confident they're basically almost the same age, 134, 135. I was gonna say young guy, but in this case they're both almost the same age. So you got a confident fighter on a winning streak, versus a hungry, fighter that knows what defeat is, knows what getting brutalized on live television is, and wanting to redeem himself and push past that place, that dark place as a fighter. You don't want to be in that. Like, it's very horrible as a fighter to be in that position. You're losing in a row by KO. And being able to get past that and start getting wins, KO wins, is crazy. Like, that's a crazy mentality to have. And so Reyes, I can see Reyes being able to use that against Ulberg, make it dirty, make Ulberg uncomfortable, and chin Ulberg. Now, anyways. Now, what I do see is Ulberg has that left hook, and he can drop Reyes with that. but I see a much bigger chance Ulberg getting in range with his chin in the air. Like I said, he goes into range. He does leave himself open, and Reyes dropping Ulberg the same way he dropped Nikita Krylov. There's moments where Ulberg in his fights does the exact same thing Nikita Krylov did when he got dropped by Reyes. The same switch stance, right hook and leaving his chin up in the air, or right cross leaving his chin up in the air, and Reyes took advantage of that and dropped Nikita Krylov. I can see that perfectly because Ulberg does it. He 1-for-1 did it in the Ozdemir fight. You see that he did it like 1 or 2 times like that, and Reyes shown to be able to take advantage of something like that. So I can see that exactly going for Reyes. And now that I got on this rant, maybe Ulberg just drops Reyes first round, like the first 30 seconds, but because it is MMA. But hopefully I'm right, because I do like Reyes, and from what I see, Reyes does, from like the mentality and the stylistic matchup, and Ulberg getting decision wins over like basically like borderline robbery wins over Jan, and a really close fight versus old man Ozdemir. Maybe Reyes is gonna be able to beat Ulberg, but I got Reyes. Final decision, final answer. Yeah, I'm kind of confident on this one. Also, it's my birthday when this event happened, so maybe it's a good birthday present for me. But yeah, that's it. Those are all my picks. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from when I choose Reyes. And yeah, hope you guys have a good day. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.